As the partial government shutdown continues into its 34th day, we're learning that the friendly skies are not so friendly. In fact, they could be increasingly risky. Air traffic controllers are among the 800,000 federal employees affected by the shutdown, all of them working without pay. Here's part of the statement from the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. Quote, "We have a growing concern for the safety and security of our members, our airlines, and the traveling public due to the government shutdown. In our risk-averse industry, we cannot even calculate the level of risk currently at play, nor predict the point at which the entire system will break. It is unprecedented." That letter was also signed by pilots and flight attendants groups who are responsible for the 43,000 flights and 2.6 million passengers each and every day. Joining me now from D.C. is Paul Rinaldi, the president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. You say that the level of risk is unprecedented. Can you put that into perspective? If somebody is watching this and says, I have a flight this weekend, should I get on that plane? What would you tell them?
I would tell them yes, but I would also say that the system, the safety of the national airspace system, is built off of layers and redundancies so that we make sure we catch every mistake that is made through the system or every error, because an error could be catastrophic in flight. 10 years ago, we built a robust safety system with robust reporting and action to mitigate risk out of our system, and we have done a fabulous job. But for 34 days, this system has not been operating correctly. So to say it's as safe as it was 34 days is just not accurate, because risk has been identified and we're not doing anything to mitigate the risk in the system.
Well, one of the things
this is a deep concern
we saw in the Washington Post was that they're reporting that because they're not getting a paycheck, some of these air traffic controllers are taking up second jobs. They're driving Ubers. They're waiting tables. I mean, personally, when I get on a plane, I'd like to know that my air traffic controller has had a good night's sleep and wasn't working a second job driving an Uber. How much of a concern is this?
Well, Chris, you're exactly right. We have a high-stressed occupation, and we focus on mitigating fatigue for our air traffic controllers. Actually, by law, we can only work 10 hours a day, and we can only work 6 days in a row, because that time off is supposed to be so we can mitigate the fatigue of that individual, and when they come to work, they're well-rested, clear-headed, and ready to perform the mission, the high-stress mission of being an air traffic controller. Now we're seeing they're not worried about mitigating their fatigue, they're worried about putting food on their table or paying their bills. So they're actually driving Ubers back and forth from the airports that they work at. They're waiting tables at restaurants nearby their house. This is a deep concern because we have a fatigued workforce, of which we're at a 30-year low of certified controllers. And 20% of our 10,500 air traffic controllers that are certified in the system, 20% of them can retire at any time. If they keep going, paycheck after paycheck with zeros and zeros and coming to work and spending money for childcare and spending money for gas and food to be at work, they might as well just retire, and they're all talking about it now. Retire and go get a job where you can actually put food on your table.
Yeah, and so we've got a second paycheck that was due tomorrow, right, that is not going to be paid. Today, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross told CNBC he doesn't understand why your colleagues are calling out sick. Let me play what he had to say also about, well, let me just play Wilbur Ross for you.
Do you worry about safety at this point?
Well, I do worry about safety, and it's kind of disappointing that the air traffic controllers are calling in sick in pretty large numbers.
He later walked back that statement, but what was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, first of all, he obviously doesn't have the facts. Is it because we have been tracking with the FAA and with the Secretary of Transportation, tracking, the sick leave, and there is not a big jump at all. But there is going to be a point where we're going to see controllers have to make this decision. Do I spend the money on gas to come to work, or do I focus on what's left of the credit I have on my credit card, the balance, to put food on the table, because I don't know if it's going for another month or 2 months. That's the stress. They don't know how long they have to keep what they have to stretch out. So are they going to spend money to fill up their tank with gas to go to work and not get paid, or are they going to save that money to put food on the table. The other thing about sick leave and air traffic controllers, we hold a very high-stricted medical. We cannot come to work when we take anything from over-the-counter stronger than Advil or Tylenol. We have to call the regional flight surgeons and get approved. If we take NyQuil because we have the flu or a cold, we're decertified. We have to call in sick. That's the law. We have to call in sick because we're not clear-headed to come to work. Now you take that situation and now you say, are you really clear-headed to come to work now because you drove an Uber for 4 hours before and after your shift, and you're concentrating on how do I pay my mortgage and how do I consolidate my debt? This is a deep concern, and the Senate needs to vote to end the shutdown today. They have an opportunity. This is a great opportunity. End this shutdown now, because the longer this goes on, the more risk is going into this system, and it is deeply concerning us right now.
And I can also say that the more tired you are, the more susceptible you are to not feeling well. And if people who took cold medication could not come to work here at MSNBC, I'm not sure I'd be on the air right now. Paul Rinaldi, not to make a joke, serious stuff, and we do really appreciate your taking the time to talk to us. And thank you for all your colleagues do every day.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad you understand the situation.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.